out of this life alive, okay? You know, so make the best of it. Make the best of it with the best people, the best. Surround yourself with love. Surround yourself with people that are positive. If you're not getting that, better to be alone and look inside yourself and change yourself. Change who you are. Become who you want to become. And when you do that, you will start attracting the right people. And if you don't do it, you're going to stay in the same stuck place that you are right now.
Yep, that's just the best message to give, Mindy. That's where we are right now. So we're moving. We're moving.
Moving on up.
Yep.
The side to a deluxe apartment
In the sky.
moving on up.
But it's just better that way. You can forgive others. Others eventually forgive you. Just move on.
Yeah.
Get better. Learn that you're human and you're going to make mistakes along the way. But guess what? We're still learning. We're still learning.
And you know what?
And that's okay.
How sad if you're not. How sad if you're not, because what has happened is that you have not done with your journey what you're supposed to have done.
Well, I don't want to be there.
No, I don't either.
Hi guys, morning. I'll tell you what, I watched Shauna's and Mindy Miller's show this morning. I spent the whole morning watching it. I had to take my kids to school, my kid to work, not school, 2 different jobs. One to football. So I've been running around since 7:30 this morning. And whilst I was doing my little dad stuff, I've had Mindy Miller and Shauna, their show last night. Obviously, I'm in England, so it gets aired middle of the night. And, you know, we know the subject. Shauna's been through some very difficult stuff. Mindy Miller has obviously wants to help her. And tell you what, Mindy Miller is just so lovely, right? It's a 2-hour show, quite a long show, guys. And I have so much praise for Mindy Miller. Like, she is so wise, smart, and her advice on life is just spot on. It's like, she's just smart, not just smart. If you want advice on how to be a good person and how to live your life in a kind way, Mindy Miller is your person. Yeah. So I have so much admiration for her. And she has been there for Shauna, big time. Now, I don't care what people's views are with that whole situation with Shauna. That's a good friend. Mindy Miller, I'd like her to be my friend. Yeah, you have someone stand by you like that. You're a lucky person. So anyway, in case Shauna does watch this, I want her to know that I fully support her. I think Shauna's lovely. Yeah, she's had a difficult time. Yeah, she's been mixing with some pretty odd people in the last 5 years. But she's going to come through it. She'll be supported by her community, her family, her friends. And it was very brave of her, Shauna, to do this show. Yeah. So I have total respect for her and I wish her well. And I hope that the people that are upset with Shauna forgive her. I mean, to be honest with you, it's not a big deal, is it? She was sucked in by someone. She eventually wised up. It's not a big deal. Her show is great. She does love Elvis. She speaks from the heart. She loves her supporters. Obviously, her passion is her YouTube channel as well as her family, of course. And I just think people need to back off, leave her alone, let her get on with her life. She wants to do what she's good at, which is She has a brilliant personality. She's very likable. She wants to do some good for Elvis, for the Elvis community. So I just think people need to back off, leave her alone. Anyway, we all have to be kind to each other. That's it. It's like just now I was on the 24/7 chat. You know, I just think we have to be polite to each other. If people are bringing in comments that we don't like, we don't shout them down, tell them off. We just go, you know, let's keep it friendly, let's keep it kind, let's come from a good place, let's come from love. That's it. That's all I'm trying to say. On the 24-hour chat, I'm just trying to say, let's be friendly to each other. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Now, if people are coming into the chat trying to start an argument, then of course we'll just delete them, won't we? We'll just block them. But there we go, guys. In case you don't know, we have a 24-hour chat on the Defending Elvis Presley Facebook channel. So I'm gonna, do you know this? This little clip I found. I'm gonna play it one more time because I don't think many of you were on, but I loved it when Shauna started singing with Mindy. Shauna, I hope you don't mind me playing this clip. I just loved it because you have a little sing-song together, and then Shauna comes out with it. Not Shauna, Mindy Miller comes out with this amazing advice, like life advice, how to live life well. And I'm gonna play it again because it's only about a minute long.
We're still learning. We're still learning.
And you know what?
And that's okay.
How sad if you're not. How sad if you're not, because what has happened is that you have not done with your journey what you're supposed to have done.
Well, I don't want to be there.
No, I don't either. My God, I've made some terrible mistakes. Am I going to hate myself?
No.
Am I going to choose to love myself?
You're going to choose to love yourself.
Exactly.
And forgive yourself.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm doing now. So, you guys, there's my story in a nutshell. There's my bombshell. And I feel so much better that it's out there. Nothing more can happen to me than already has been done. It's already out in the ether. So there you go, guys.
I have to thank you for sharing that with me because I was not aware of this.
Yeah. So it was a very big surprise to you. So I'm very glad that we could do that. I was just like, you know what? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the rumors of all these people that believe Elvis was alive. Let's debunk all this stuff. You know, I wanted you on. You know, I thought, I love you. I just wanted you on. You have a way of helping somebody cope with things like this. You've been through it. You've been through it. You've been through the ringer. You've been through 8 years of online bashing. Yeah. And here I am. I've only been through a few weeks of it. And I'm done with it already. It's like I can't go forward until this is behind me. Yeah.
But you know, the thing is, like I said, anybody and all of us as human beings, whatever it is in your life, get your truth out there somehow. Get your truth out there. Get it out of your system. Get it out of your soul. Get it out of your body. Get it out of your brain. Know that you put it out there and move forward. You have a whole beautiful life ahead of you to live. Why allow this negativity coming to you, whether it's from people, whether it's a job, a situation?
Great word.
Don't allow it. You have to be in charge of you because nobody else will be, although they'll try to be.
Yeah, you know? That is for certain. And people think they are.
Yeah, narcissistic people, which I've gone through for 8 long years, you know, they'll condemn you. They'll tell horrific lies about you. People have no clue who some of these people truly are. But they'll find out because it's the way of the universe. It will come back to them. And so once you put that out there and you start really being in charge of you and your life, you won't allow these things or these people or this kind of energy to ever hit you again, ever. And you will know the red flags so that when you feel them, see them, hear them, you will run in the other direction and go, nope, not me, not today, not ever.
Yep.
The best advice I can give to anybody, you know.
That's what I'll do. That's what I'm doing. You know, yeah. There's no reason to keep this stuff going when I already know what my truth is. You know I don't believe in this stuff anymore. You know, just because I did doesn't make me a bad person. You know, it just means that I was believing it. I was vulnerable. It happened to me. I let it ride. Probably because I was lonely too. He reminded me of what my dad was like in the past. And I just let it ride. But the thing is...
And it's okay. And, you know...
I cared about others' feelings. I was so empathetic to everybody's feelings and their needs that I didn't think about my own. So next time, I'm going to be more aware of that.
Yeah. And you know what? Just tell people honestly what I do. I said, I'm so sorry, but I can't go there.
Yes, ma'am.
And I do. And I apologize first. Not that I even need to apologize. There's no apology.
So
that's just...
I want to get to the bit where they sing, which I just think is lovely.
I feel so much better that it's out there. Nothing more can happen.
But guys...
already has been done. It's already out.
Mindy Miller, I tell you what. The best advice. She... Oh, I've got so much time for Mindy Miller. So I'm just trying to see if it gets to the point where they sing. But we all need a friend like that, guys. We've all been through some tough times, yeah? We've all made mistakes. Sometimes we feel we're going through something that's so difficult and we're desperate and we're lost. And then a friend, a member of the family, could be a husband, wife, daughter, uncle, auntie, cousin, school friend, out of the blue, gets us through it. And then we are indebted to them for the rest of our lives. I tell you now, I've had people there for me at some of the darkest times in my life. And they got me through. And Mindy Miller, the way that she supports Shauna through that. Brilliant. Brilliant. I can't find. I wanted to see the section where they sing. I'm not sure if it's going to let me find it now, but. I don't think I'm going to find it, but where they sing. So how is everyone? Pity he didn't stay with Mindy. Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I don't know much about the Mindy relationship. I've tried looking into it. It's quite hard to find information about. I think it was around 1975. Do any of you guys know about it? Have you got your coffees, guys? Have you got your coffees? Must have a coffee. Yeah, so it's good morning to you. It's Louis at Defending Elvis Presley. I'm 57 years old. I'm in Southwest UK. And with Team Elvis, we defend Elvis every day. No particular topic today. We had a bit of an interesting, how can I say it? What was the name? Annie. Actually, I don't know if Annie's on today. We had Annie joined us yesterday. Were many of you here? And she's obviously, I think Annie has got the wrong impression of defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. Yeah. Now, our goal is to defend Elvis Presley no matter what it is, but it's also to how can I say it? To give praise to Elvis's life and everyone that was good to Elvis in his life. We're bigging up Elvis because we think he deserves it. He can't really do it for himself. So, for example, we also want to talk about all the good Elvis did in his life. All the people that he was kind to, all the people he helped, you know, there's certain members of the Memphis Mafia that have always been good to Elvis, like Larry Geller and Charlie Hodge. Some of the members of the Memphis Mafia, it's borderline, right? I have opinions about certain members of the Memphis Mafia where I think they were very good to him, but also not good to him. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do with defending Elvis isn't just to sort of disagree with people and go, like, we disagree with Priscilla constantly, many things, don't we? Yeah. Now, I've always tried to say we're not a Priscilla hate channel. I don't hate Priscilla. But I'm not just, we're not, the name of our channel isn't We Hate Priscilla. It isn't We Hate Priscilla. It isn't Let's All Hate Priscilla. Now, this person that joined us yesterday, Annie, and no offense to Annie. Annie, you're welcome. Annie said that she's been watching our daily live streams since we started. Even was watching my channel before I started doing Defending Elvis Presley, because obviously for the last 2.5 years, I've been doing mini documentaries about Elvis and his life and anything connected to Elvis, and shorts, loads of shorts. So you guys, if you want to watch them, go onto the video channels and the shorts on my Defending Elvis YouTube channel, and you will find thousands and thousands of short videos and clips that I made way before we started defending Elvis. So I just think if for people to get a rounded opinion of defending Elvis and me, how I do things with Team Elvis, I think you have to watch some of my videos, watch some of my shorts. Then you have to go through, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 of my live streams with Team Elvis, and you'll get a feel and you'll see that there's no hate here, that we're just trying to help Elvis, aren't we? Isn't that really what we're trying to do? What do you guys think? We're just trying to help Elvis. I think that's the simplest way of putting it. We're literally trying to help him because we know the truth. We know the good side of Elvis. We know we're nearer to the truth when it comes to the Memphis Mafia, Colonel Tom Parker, Dr. Nick, and the girlfriends. Yeah? And his relationship with his own parents. So we've got a pretty good idea. Yeah, Linda. Linda, thank you so much for getting me a coffee. Linda bought me a coffee. Guys, if you want to get me a coffee, please do. I love being bought a coffee. It's your way of saying thank you. Linda, you know I love you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Put a big smile on my face when you sent me that coffee. Thank you so much. The other good news, guys, we've got some more. We had 2 more members. And what it is, let's just get to it. Now, I'm not in a rush. Everyone's out. The wife's at the gymnastics club with working. She takes Tino and Yasmin with her. Tino and Yasmin are 4 and 7. Rio is working in a gymnasium and he is 16. Giovanni, who is 15, is at a football match. He's at a football academy. And Talia, my daughter, is working. She works with children. Yeah. So the whole house is empty for at least 2 hours. So I got a bit of a free run here. Right. I just I've lost my sense of thought. Right. Let me just drink some of this. So have you guys got a coffee? Because we're going to be a little while chatting. They all wrote books and told private details, even the good ones, mostly after he died, so he could not challenge them about what they said. And that is why we're here. We're here to help Elvis. Because you think about it, yeah? Now, we're just chatting for a bit. You think about it, guys. 1977 comes, Elvis passes away. Do I think Elvis was going to die? Do I think Elvis thought that day he was going to die? No way. Elvis knew he was very unwell, seriously unwell, but I honestly do believe, and you tell me what you think. Hi Jane, yeah, get your coffee. I'm asking you guys, I'll quickly go and fill my coffee up. Do any of you think that Elvis thought he was going to die that day, August the 16th, 1977? Do any of you think he actually thought he was going to die? Seriously, I really mean this. Remember, he knew he was going on a tour the next day. He had got ready for it. We know about the racquetball game, going to the dentist. We know all the things that happened leading up. Do any of you think it? I'll just put some more water in my coffee. Right, let's just warm it up. We're gonna think outside the box. Right. Okay. So I've actually made a tea and a coffee because I know we're going to be chatting for a while. Right, let's just have a look at your remarks. I just want to because I've let Shauna be on this, because I've shown a bit of support for Shauna, I just want to let her know that we used part of her video on my show, because I don't like other YouTube channels to think I've done something without permission. So she doesn't know that I was going to mention her on this show. She doesn't know. You're on my show. Right, okay. Right, let me just read. Let's have a look. So, no, he was in denial of a lot of things. Hi, Elaine. I think it's impossible to say. I doubt he woke up thinking, I'm going to die, but I think he knew he was very unwell. That's Michelle Arundel. All right, Sue, you're making lemon curd tarts. Oh, I love lemon curd tarts. Can I have one? Just pass it to me. There we are. Pass me the lemon curd tarts. I'm not allowed to eat them because of the carnivore diet. Because I'm on carnivore keto diet, I can't eat it. But I can imagine it. I tell you now, I loved them. Loved them. So, Sue, can I ask, what time is it where you are, Sue? He probably didn't realize the point at which he needed the pills and injectables to function. They were initially needed for his health problems. Sue, yay. Yeah, Jane wants one. You're going to have to make a lot. Right. This is what we're doing. We're gonna have a chat before I start playing clips and stuff. I've been sent quite a few clips from you guys through the night. A lovely clip with Riley Q. Yeah. Now, we're gonna think. Oh, okay, Sue. Right, I should have known that, shouldn't I, Sue? My memory is terrible. Yeah, I know you're in Shropshire. Well, I bet they smell lovely. Right. I'm just thinking outside the box. Okay. So let's just make sure my laptop's plugged in. So Elvis didn't know he was going to die. No way. Now remember, am I correct? Lisa Marie was staying at Greystands. She was there. Yeah. There's no way Elvis thought he was going to die. He had everything planned. As far as I can see, he was trying to Priscilla was arranging to collect Lisa Marie because Elvis was all packed and ready to go. There had already been many arrangements put in place by the Memphis Mafia, to get to the venue. Everything was ready. Colonel Tom Parker was there. Everything was at hand. So he didn't know. No. Jane, I love you. I would never call you names. But, right. So, suddenly, Elvis Presley, God rest his soul, we all love him and miss him, is dead. Yeah? Now, do you think Elvis thought? Now, remember, he had a very troublesome year. He had the Memphis Mafia tell-all book had been released a few weeks earlier. We know about the conversation with Red West. I don't actually know the date of that conversation. Does anyone know? I think it was a while before it was. Someone told me it might have even happened in quite a while before the book was released. Is that true or not? Do any of you know the date of that conversation? Then you've got the problem with the Red West conversation is you can't understand it, can you? It's the quality is so bad. Has anyone done the Red West conversation? I'm just seeing if it comes up on YouTube where they've fixed the audio on it. Let's just play a section of it. But my point is this. Let's just go. I'll just quickly play that just very quickly because it's just a small snippet of it. So I can carry on saying what I'm going to say. Let's just get a bit of room. Let's get it nice and loud. Oh, breaks my heart. See that? You see that? That break. Let me just pause this. Now that break, doesn't that break your heart? He said, I thank you and Pat. And then he says, you do what you got to do. And he still says, no matter what, I'm here. God. Elvis, even knowing what he knew about that book was going to have many things in it that were, how can I say, that made him look like an addict. Yeah, a drug addict. Also, I know there was also many good things in the book as well. I know that big parts of that book praise Elvis. It's not all bad, that book. But my point is this. Look how kind Elvis is. Right to the last minute. He gives his regards to his wife and says, you got to do what you got to do. No, it's obviously we have to listen to him. He makes it pretty clear there that the wedding was rushed. And before he knew it, he was married. And I get the impression, even there, in that conversation, that Red West secretly recorded, which he shouldn't have done because a good friend shouldn't do that. So Red West is out of order, secretly recording that phone call. But the dilemma is we wouldn't know about it if he hadn't have done it. It just reminds us all just how kind Elvis was, even when people wronged him. This is why he forgave Priscilla when he was on tour, in front of his audience, in front of his girlfriend. Elvis wasn't the type of person that if something bad happened to him, he wanted to get hateful revenge. He would get angry, But then when he calmed down, he was full of forgiveness. The Bible was so important to him. I think even Mindy Miller, one of her interviews I was reading, is that Elvis always had a Bible with him. And that there's a picture of Mindy Miller coming out of an aeroplane, a video of it, and he's holding the Bible, walking down the steps with Mindy Miller. I'm like, that says it all about Elvis. He kept the Bible close because he followed its teachings. Yeah. Even though he was interested in loads of religions, he was interested in spirituality and all the rest of it, the Bible was always, I'm doing it here because this is how he was holding it. He was holding it like this. The Bible came first. And in the Bible, the number one thing you are taught is to forgive. Forgiveness. Number one thing. And this is why I always push that when we're talking about Priscilla, no hate, forgiveness, forgiveness. We have to bring her to the table, get her to admit and apologize for the wrongdoing towards Elvis and his family, because her wrongdoing reaches out. It affects Riley, it affects Finley and Harper, definitely affected poor Lisa Marie Presley, her daughter, and massively affected Elvis. We have to come from a place of love, a place of forgiveness. Anyone joining this channel, please know this. I am 100% not a hate channel for Priscilla. Anyway, let's get back to what I was saying. So you imagine Elvis has suddenly died. He's in heaven. He's in heaven. Elvis is in heaven. Yeah? What am I doing here? I was going on my concert tour. Does any of you know where the concert tour was? I could probably Google it. Do any of you know? I've read it a few times. There's, you know, all the posters and banners were up. Everything was up. That's like, let's see if it comes up. Elvis cancelled concert because of his death. Let's just see what comes up. Do any of you know, guys? I think you... Right, here we are. Presley's was due to start a 12-date tour the day after his death. He already played 55 dates that year. My God! Guys, did you know that? Did you know, any of you know that? He'd already played 55 dates. Wow. Wow. I'm blown away by that. Anyway, so all right, Elaine says it's Portland, Maine. Let's have a look. He cancelled 4 shows between the 31st of March and the 3rd of April when he was admitted to Baptist Memorial Hospital with symptoms of intestinal flu. Okay, hang on. Oh, no, so No, all right, got it. So this wasn't after his death. Right, I'm with you. So this wasn't after his death. Let's have a look at this bit here. Elvis Presley's death caused several... Right, here we go. Elvis Presley's death caused several concerts to be cancelled. The Mid-South Coliseum. Elvis was scheduled to perform at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis on the 27th and the 28th, 1977, but died of heart disease on August the 16th. The state of court appeals ruled the ticket holders should receive refunds. I didn't know this. So does that mean there was some kind of court case because they weren't able to get refunds? Is this true? Does anyone know about this? Well, Elaine, I wouldn't say it was his only form of income, but it was his main form of income. Yeah, he obviously had other forms of income because, you know, I know that he sold his pre-1973 recording rights, but not after. And also, come on, there was loads of stuff being sold using Elvis's name around the world. So that isn't completely correct. But let me just keep going. Elvis was scheduled to perform at Utica. Here we go. Right. Elvis was scheduled to perform at Utica Auditorium on the 19th of August, 1977, but he died 3 days before the show. Tickets for this show are now worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Okay, that's interesting. So I mean, the thing I read is that he literally was performing the next day. So was it 3 days after his death that he was going to perform, or was it literally the next day? So interesting. Let's have a look. Let's see if a video says it. No, it doesn't come up with a video. Sorry, we're learning together, guys. Yeah, Team Elvis, we're learning together. What's this? I just find it really interesting. Right, here we go. What's this? So we've got this picture here. August the 15th. A ticket to Presley's cancelled show. I'm not really. Anyone ever seen? Oh, the lights a bit. Let me try. That's it there. Does that show a bit? Let me try and get it away from the lights. Here we go. There. So that's people queuing around the corner. So it's obviously the day before. So I'm guessing that they're queuing to buy tickets. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. So this is showing a picture of the tickets. Let me go where there's a bit better light. Interesting. Let's have a look. I'm just seeing if it gives. I'm trying to find something that said. Right, here we go. So there's a thing here that's listing all the different dates that he performed in 1977. So there's quite a few. I'll just read a few of them. You've got Hollywood, CA. We've got West Palm Beach, St. Petersburg, Montgomery, Savannah, Columbia, Johnson City, Charlotte, New NC. After his February 1977 tour, Elvis returned to Memphis. Elvis planned a vacation in Hawaii in order to show the island to Ginger Alden. Before leaving, he takes care of several business matters, including a loan to Dr. Nick for an additional $55,000 at 7% interest rate. Now, we know that there is from what we've done recently, we've done a live stream with Dr. Nick, and the fact that Elvis was loaning him money is a problem, isn't it? Because this man obviously is in charge of the medication being prescribed to Elvis. So I think it made it very difficult for Dr. Nick to say no. Yeah, do we agree with that? You don't lend your doctor money. So it gave Elvis the upper hand. Dr. Nick, yeah. We love Dr. Nick's hair. Let's just check your comment. Hi, Ashley. Hi, David. Okay. Let's just keep going on. I want to read this. It's interesting. So additional $55,000. So we don't know what the original amount that he's giving him. So this is an additional $55,000 at 7% interest rate with a repayment scheduled for 25 years. My God. Bearing in mind, Elvis is 42. He's very unwell. And they've done a repayment mortgage spread over 25 years. That's interesting. Also, his father urging in the early hours of the morning, March the 3rd, Elvis finally signed his will. That's interesting. I didn't know that. So the father is urging that he signs his will, does that tell us that it's possible that Vernon was worried that Elvis was going to die? What do you think, guys? You tell me. I'll repeat that section. His father was urging in the early hours of the morning of March the 3rd that Elvis would finally sign his will, which designates Vernon as executor trustee and entrusting to him total responsibility for his health and education, comfortable maintenance and welfare for himself, his grandmother, and Lisa Marie, the sole heir. Ginger is the witness to the will. I didn't know that. Did any of you guys know that Ginger Oldham was the witness to the will? That's the first time I've read that. Hi, Philomena. Did any of you know that? I did not know that Ginger actually witnessed the will in March. To Jane knew. I didn't know. Let's keep going. I like this. Ginger Oldham, a local beauty queen, Miss Traffic Safety, Miss Mid-South, and runner-up as Miss Tennessee University, has the distinction of being the last girlfriend and the last person to see him alive on the night he died. Elvis was introduced to Terry Oldham, the reigning Miss Tennessee, by George Klein on November the 19th, 1976. Terry brought her two sisters, Rosemary and Ginger, with her. George thought it was Terry to whom Elvis would be attracted, but Elvis was immediately drawn to the youngest sister. Elvis Saturday night date with Ginger and started a flight to view the Memphis skyline, but ended with a trip to Vegas, chaperoned by his cousin Patsy and husband. Ginger called her mother for permission. So this is giving a timeline. I might read this. This is giving a timeline for all the things that happened leading up to his death. Shall I read it, guys? It's not overly long, but it's going to take a few minutes. Shall I read it? I quite like it. Now, eventually we're going to get to the point where thank you, Linda. Eventually we're going to get to the point where, right, Elvis is in heaven. And then we're going to talk about all the things that happened that I think that were harmful to Elvis after he died, where he couldn't defend himself, where we have stepped in and gone, not just, when I say we, I mean Elvis fans. The second Elvis Presley died, it was the Elvis fans that defended him. Right back then, 1977, we have defended him. Now, don't forget, it took a while, didn't it? It took a while for the Elvis fans to realize there was some wrongdoing happening with Priscilla and all the decisions being made. We didn't all know about Steve Peck, the dance instructor, Mike Stone. Many people had their head in the clouds. Yeah, we didn't know all the details. Many things were blamed on Elvis. Everything was Elvis's fault. So they blamed his addiction. They blamed, which we know is there's a complicated story to his problem with medication that he got from Dr. Nick and other sources. We didn't know all the details with the Memphis Mafia. We didn't know all the details with girlfriends and secret money problems. We didn't know how unwell Elvis was. So everything was a grey area. So I think years later, we start to see the truth. Because I think even when you're reading the books like the Memphis Mafia book and Priscilla's book, which obviously came later, it's all a bit, I wonder if this is true. I wonder if that is true. It's all a bit of that, isn't it? Nothing actually proved. Nothing that goes, right, bang. There's the documents that prove that happened. There's the witnesses that prove that happened. There's the lie detector or almost everything that has been said about Elvis after he died is hearsay. Is hearsay. And this is why we defend. Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah. So Friday, March the 4th, Elvis and his party of 30 arrived in Hawaii, checking into the Hilton Rainbow Tower. After 2 days, Elvis and the Olden sisters and a couple of the guys moved to a beach house at Kailua, and that clip has been given by Shirley Diu from one of her interviews. Okay, March the 12th, a visit to Arizona Memorial is cancelled as Elvis prepares for an abruptly scheduled return to Memphis. He has gotten sand in his eye, and Dr. Nick's concerned that he may have scratched his cornea and suggests that he recuperate at home for a week or so before going out on tour. Okay? I think I've read about that before, but was it that or was it his glaucoma? I don't know, guys. I'm just guessing. I've just sent you the signed part of the will. Okay, yeah, I've got. Thank you, Elaine. I've got the will, and I tell you what, it'll take me ages to read it. So I really have to be in a mood to read that will. Let me just face the camera to the TV. Look. There we go. You can see Elvis. See Elvis in the background having fun. Love that video. Now, guys, I literally spend all of my free time watching Elvis, whether it be in my car, whether it be when I go to bed, in the morning when I wake up. I am always watching Elvis stuff and reading Elvis stuff. I don't have a choice. For me to keep updated so that we can do these lives, and we're doing 2 lives a day, really, aren't we? I don't have time for anything else. Even when I'm driving the car, when I'm going places, I have my phone on and I'm listening to interviews, listening to different things to do with Elvis. I don't have a choice. I have to do it. But lucky me, because I love it. Don't think it's a bad thing. I love learning about Elvis. Love it. Anything Elvis, I love it. Right, let's keep going. Okay, March the 23rd, he went to Tempe, Arizona. Then we've got a load of court data. We've got a load of dates here where he performed. So Amarillo, Norman, Oklahoma, Abilene, Texas, Austin, Texas, Alexandra, LA, at the Rapides Parish Coliseum. And he's there on the 29th of March and the 30th of March. Then we jump to April the 1st to the 5th. Elvis is hospitalized in Memphis, and a tour schedule for March 31st to the 3rd of April are cancelled. Okay, so now to me, the fact that there's things getting cancelled leading up to the day he died is an indication that something is wrong. Do we agree with that, guys? Let's just read some of your comments. It's hard to believe that anyone about anything. So many different versions of the same stories. It comes out of Elvis's own mouth. Then I believe it. Yeah, I feel like Linda. That's how I feel. I'm always like, prove it. Then it's like Annie, who jumped in and was commenting yesterday. And no offense, Annie, but I got the impression that you feel that we are Priscilla haters. I respectfully disagree with you. But some of the things that Annie said, like one of the comments was, oh, Elvis waited until Priscilla was 17 to 18 so that he could pursue her. Yeah? Now, like Linda says, we'll prove it then. Because I think it's the other way around. I think Priscilla pursued Elvis. So when I'm hearing comments that are hearsay, I go by what Linda says, Linda Cudden. I want to hear it from Elvis's mouth, not from a fan that is biased and really is a Priscilla fan. No offense, Annie. That's just how I took it. Okay. Now, Annie, I want you to know we come from a place of love, no hate. I have no problem with you at all. I have nothing against Priscilla fans. Yeah, they're very welcome on this show. We want Priscilla fans to join us so we can change their mind, so we can remove their blinkers, so we can explain to them that this is garbage, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes. How many people laugh when I say, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes? How many of you just think it's hilarious and start laughing? Right, April, let's have a look. So April the 1st. I have to do it, Linda. April the 1st. And Elvis Presley was admitted to Baptist Hospital early today after cancelling a show at the last minute at Baton Rouge and flying to Memphis with complaints of intestinal flu. The Memphis Press Scimitar. Yeah. So again, different medical problems. Yeah. Now this makes sense to me because if Vernon was trying to push Elvis into signing this will that Ginger Alden witnessed, which I think was in March. Vernon, I just reading this, I'm thinking, Vernon knew Elvis was seriously unwell. Vernon knew. I think he tried to play it down. We've got that letter that he wrote to a fan that one of you guys sent me. I think Vernon knew that there was a chance Elvis was going to die. Do any of you think that Vernon knew that Elvis was going to die? There was a chance of it. Hi, Luann. Hope you're well. Luann, I read all your comments. Then brilliant. Thank you. Hi, David. Hope you're well over there in Wales. Elaine, YouTube have never told me to say it, but I watch other people's videos and they tend to put it at the beginning of their YouTube. So instead of writing it out and posting it at the beginning of my videos, I just say it. This is for entertainment purposes. Everything I say is just our opinions, mine and Team Elvis. Yeah. I'm getting good at it now. Let's have a look. So Linda says it's possible that Vernon had real concerns. Yeah. Well, if he's making him sign a will and he's in and out of hospital, Vernon must have been seriously worried. Not just Vernon, the people around him, the Memphis Mafia, the staff, the people he lived with. Now, there's a real heartfelt clip. The Oprah and Riley Keough interview. There's a real heartfelt clip. And I think we know this anyway, that Lisa Marie was scared her father was going to die. And she even wrote a letter. I think, where did I see that? Oh, yeah, on the Oprah interview, this little clip that's been released. It even shows a picture of the letter saying, Daddy, please don't die. I'm scared my daddy's going to die. So she was there. And in that, do you know what? The clip that we saw with Riley Keough, I'm not sure how many of you have watched it. It even says that poor Lisa Marie would sit in her, this is later in life, drinking alcohol, crying over her father while listening to his music. Very, very sad. And she even says that she was there. She did discover the body. She was, because I think we're giving the impression that Lisa Marie was kept away from it. I know, obviously, we know she was staying at Graceland. I think Lisa Marie saw a lot more than we're told. I need to go back and watch the clip. I'm worried about, I don't want to lose this page, so I don't want to click off it. Let me see if I can get it on another phone. 1 second. Because you guys sent me the clip. 1 second, let me just see if it's going to work. Just see if it's going to work, guys. Let's see if it's here. Right, hang on 1 second. I'm going to warm this tea up as well because I made a tea as well. I hope you guys have got teas ready because we still got a while to go, guys. Okay, let's warm that up. Right, let me just see if this is the clip. Sometimes find her sitting, listening to her dad's songs and reading. Yeah, and crying. Yeah, I think her grief was very I don't think she knew how to process it. And it was a very private thing for her. She was listening to his music alone. Yeah. If she was drunk and cry. Did you come upon her many times or several times in that state? Yes, I recall. Just warm that up. Right, let's get this. Sorry, guys. I have to have my teas. It's important we have the teas ready. Okay. This phone's not really working properly, but okay. Let's just try it. Let's try and get that phone to work. Do you guys have your tea ready? You must have tea. Very important. Tea or coffee? Okay. We've got tea. Is this working? I'm going to try this phone, guys. Right. Let's see if it's going to work. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Got a nice cup of tea. Beer? Choline, yes, could be beer. So choline, it's 6:10 a.m. Yeah, got to have a cup of tea. I've had my coffee, now I want my tea. So David, let's have a look. So yeah, Linda's in Bedfordshire. Okay, let's see if we can find that clip. I'm in no rush, guys. We got all morning, so bear with me. Okay, let's have a look. Thanks for sending me that, Elaine. Elaine is sending me the signed page of the will. Thank you, Elaine. Right, let's have a look. Let's go back to... I wanted to see... Right, let's play the little clip that went out. Is it going to let me play it? You would sometimes find her sitting, listening to her dad's songs and reading. Yeah. And crying. Yeah. I think her grief was very I don't think she knew how to process it. And it was a very private thing for her. She would listen to his music alone. Yeah. If she was drunk and cry. Did you come upon her many times or several times in that state? Yes. I would walk into her room and she had a speakers because this was, back in the day. Yes. And she would kind of be sitting on the floor crying and she'd listen to her dad's music. So sad, but that isn't the clip. There's another clip that one of you sent me that actually shows the letter that she wrote that says, "I'm afraid my father's going to die." Hang on, let me just think. You know what? I think it might have been on a video that I watched this morning. Let's have a look. See if it comes up. It was quite a short video, but I quite liked it. I think I'm going to have to look for it. But there's a letter out there, her basically saying, I'm scared my dad's going to die. Do any of you know about that letter? Elvis being ill was one reason after the other, because Priscilla Bueller, in the old will, Vernon knew she was about to put a lien on Graceland's. I think the second divorce settlement, wasn't there the divorce depositions that were involved with that? I think the second divorce was brewing for a while. It was still going on in 77, but I think it had been going on for quite a while. Okay, let's carry on reading this. Let's hope I haven't lost it. Here we go. So we are now up to April the 6th, yeah? Elvis at home, hospital encore. Elvis Presley was released from Baptist Hospital at 4 a.m. yesterday. He decided to keep the hospital rooms reserved. He is feeling fine and looking forward to returning to his personal appearance tours that begin on April the 21st at Greensboro, NC. The commercial appeal. Right, okay. Right, so now we're going to just quickly run through all the places that Elvis performed in. So he was at Greensboro, Detroit, Toledo, Ohio, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Then we've got Saginaw, Michigan, Kalamazoo, Michigan, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Duluth Arena. We've got St. Paul's. Then we have Chicago, Saginaw, Michigan. We have Knoxville, Tennessee, Louisville, Largo, MD. Then we've got Providence, Augusta, Maine, Rochester, and Binghamton. And this was between April the 26th and May the 26th. So quite a few performances. So May the 26th, Elvis's private jet and Lisa Marie had just landed after Rochester to Birmingham, New York flight. The chief of security. Now I've watched a few Mick. Is it Grob? What's his first name again? It says Grob the first, because Elaine sent me some quite good interviews with Grob. Elaine, what's his first name again? New York flight Grob, the chief of security, had just warned Elvis that they were in restricted gun carry area. It was about 3 a.m., May the 26th, and a crowd of fans and dignitaries, including Elvis's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, and a high-ranking law officer had gathered to welcome Elvis. Isn't there video footage of that? I got a feeling there is. Right. Yeah, and I've been sent the list of all the different people that are attending the book launches of Riley Q around, isn't there 6? And all the different people that will be appearing at each book signing event where you see Riley Q. So what do you guys think of the people that she's using? They're different people, aren't they, at each event? So then we go to still wearing pajama-like karate gear. Elvis began descending the portable stairs when the crowd started cheering as a spotlight with him. As he lifted his arm and acknowledged the reception, 2 loaded semi-automatic Colt pistols fell from his waistband and bounced down the steps. Elvis had a sheepish grin on as he came down. Do you know what? I didn't know about the guns falling out, but there is video footage of that, isn't there, where he gets into the is it limousine, whatever it is, and rushes off in a hurry. I think someone had mentioned to me that he had mixed up his medication a bit and was not feeling well. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Waiting was the local police chief or ranking officer. Elvis completely disarmed the man by shaking his hand and introducing himself. The guy handed him the guns and said, "I believe these are yours, Mr. Presley." Elvis stuck them back in his waistline. The guns are now on display at Graceland at another concert around the same time. a loaded 22 caliber Derringer popped out of one of Elvis's stage boots and bounced on the stage right in front of rhythm guitarist John Wilkinson, who did not like the guns. It was retrieved about 20 minutes later. Then we have some more shows. Binghamton, Philadelphia, Baltimore. May the 29th, 60-second RCL Elvis was radio commercials played in Australia. Welcome to my world. And then we've got Jacksonville Coliseum. This is from the 27th of May to the 30th of May. The last 4 shows of the March-April 1977 tour, Batug Rogue Mobile Macon Jacksonville, were cancelled. These shows were the rescheduled at the end of late May and June the 1977 tour. However, these tickets were printed, and with planning being that Elvis was to perform at Asheville on May the 30th, 1977. If you look at the list below of the planned August 1977 tour, you can see that Elvis was to perform there on August the 26th, 1977. So this date was pushed back, the Asheville show, until August due to this schedule. Of course, the August show in Asheville never took place because Elvis died. Right, I'll repeat that. Wasn't this the information? So this will be the one, won't it? Let's have a look. August 1977 tour. You can see that Elvis was to perform there on August. Does it say where it was? I'm going to read that whole section again. The last 4 shows of March-April 1977 tour in Jacksonville were cancelled. These shows were then rescheduled at the end of May and June. However, these tickets were printed with planning being that Elvis was to perform in Asheville on May the 13th, 1977. If you look at the list below of the planned August 1977 tour, you can see that Elvis was due to perform there on August the 26th, 1977. So this date was pushed back. Right, okay. And due to this rescheduling, of course, the August show in Asheville never took place. Okay, but that's a 10 days after. That's 10 days after. So we've found one that was 3 days after, haven't we? So the tickets for May 1977 Asheville show printed on a sale prior to the original cancellation of the late March, early April 1977 shows. Then we've got a list of shows here. Right, let's have a look. So, Baton Rouge, this is May the 31st. Then we got June the 1st and 2nd, Elvis tours in concert. June the 1st, Macon Coliseum. The single Way Down, right, okay, so in June, the single Way Down was released, and it's the highest chart position it got was number 18. I actually remember Way Down. I remember as a kid listening to it on the radio. Do any of you guys remember that? Right. Oh, that's sad, Elaine. I think everyone did, didn't they? Right. Let's have a look. So June the 17th to 26th, Elvis tours in concert shows on June the 19th, 2021 are recorded by RCA and videotaped by CBS TV for an upcoming live album and television special. Footage from the show on the 20th is not used in the show. The special will be called Elvis in Concert, and it will air in early October after Elvis's death in August. The camera gives a shocking picture of Elvis's poor health in his final days, and still some of the songs' performances are great. He still had a great voice. I mean, I'll tell you what, guys. Look, Elvis was bloated. His face was all puffy. He definitely looked very unwell. But I do also think that it was filmed so close up to him that it exaggerated and made him look much more overweight than he actually was. I know he was overweight, guys. I know his stomach was bloated. But if you look at the pictures of him on holiday in Hawaii, His arms, his shoulders, his legs are still very slim. But yes, he's distended around here, and his face does look completely different, probably from some kind of reaction to the medication he's on, I'm guessing. So June the 17th, Elvis on tour. June the 17th, Springfield, Southwest. June the 18th, Kansas City. June the 19th, Oklahoma. Then he's in Lincoln, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, Des Moines, Madison, Cincinnati, Indianapolis. So he does quite a few shows between the 20th of June and the 26th of June. Right, so then they say here, on the 26th of June, Indianapolis, Market Square, Indiana, Market Square, Elvis' very last concert. Are we agreed there, guys? The 26th of June, Indianapolis, Indiana, Market Square, that was his last concert. Is that correct? Obviously, some of these things are wrong, aren't they? So, now June the 27th, August the 15th, Elvis relaxes at Memphis and prepares for the next leg of his tour. The United States introduced cruise missiles. The album in July, the album Moody Blues is released. Highest chart position, number 3. July 22nd to here. Well, I can't see that. I can't even read that. Sorry. Right. August the 1st, 1977, obviously. The book, Elvis, What Happened, is released. Now, we were talking about this at the beginning of this. Now, Elvis, I don't think Elvis thought he was going to die. He knew he was unwell. He knew he was very sick. Do I think he thought he was going to die that day? I honestly don't. Yeah. Do I think the people around him thought he may die soon? Yeah, I do, but not on that day. I do think that everyone feared that the end was close. I do believe that. Even now I've read this, even Vernon. Yeah? Because why is he pushing so hard for the will to be signed? August the 11th, Elvis pays his respect at his mother's grave. Now that is beautiful that I love that Elvis went to his mother's grave on August the 11th. Now, is that definitely correct? I'd like to know if that was true. But that is beautiful. I really hope that is correct. Thank you, Colleen. So let's have a look. August the 11th, Elvis pays... Right, no, we've done that. August the 12th, Elvis was unable to get a copy of the film Star Wars to view with his daughter, Lisa Marie. They watched the James Bond film, The Spy Who Loved Me. Now, I remember going to the cinema and watching The Spy Who Loved Me. Isn't that with the white car that goes under the water? Was it a Ferrari? I don't know. But I went to that with my dad. So that would have been... Well, I would have been, let me just think, if it's 1977, I would have been 10 years old. I actually remember watching that with my twin brother and my father. I loved it. Obviously, when you're 10 years old and you've got all these gadgets, I am a massive James Bond fan, guys. I don't know if you are. I am a massive James Bond fan, and I like both of them. Sean Connery and Roger Moore. Love them both. Love them both. Anybody else... I've never liked any of the other James Bonds except for the one that only did one. What was his name? Is it licensed? What's the name of the Australian guy that only did one? I like that one. You guys tell me, what is the name of the Australian guy? Was it called License to Kill? Obviously, I'm a massive fan of Sean Connery, a massive fan of Roger Moore, but who is the other one? No, not Roger Moore. This is the one he only did one. He only did one, and I really like that one. It's one of my favourite, and he's an Australian. Is it? Yes, Lazenby, George Lazenby. Love that film. Love it. Like one of my favourite Bonds. Yeah, he should have made another one. He should have made another one, but he went a bit weird, didn't he? He went a bit odd. I'm a big fan of George Lazenby. I think he's great. Yeah, come on, James. I'll tell you what. I love James Bond. My brother's the same. Me and my brother, we absolutely love James Bond. Love it. But I don't like any of the James Bonds after Sean Connery. Just I've never been able to enjoy them. Never, none of them. I always compare them to Roger Moore, Sean Connery, and George Lazenby. Right, that's just me. I'm old-fashioned. Right. Elvis was unable to get a copy of the film. All right, we know. So this story, I've read about this story. I love the fact that Elvis is trying to get the Star Wars. We all watch Star Wars. Come on. You know what? I'm not a big Star Wars person, but I tell you what, I loved it. When I went and watched it, I liked it. Sorry. The other thing I loved was Superman. Don't forget, Superman was a similar time, yeah? From a boy 10, 11 years old, Christopher Reeve, Superman, I loved it. I even used to sneak in the cinema to watch it because I didn't have much money. So we would sneak in through the fire exit to watch Superman. Do any of you remember watching the first Superman? I'm a massive fan of Christopher Reeve. Massive fan of Christopher Reeve. Love him. Love him. In fact, I like all his films. We've actually got a film because Christopher Reeve came to my hometown, Weston-super-Mare, and filmed a scene with Anthony Hopkins. What's the film with Christopher Reeve and Anthony Hopkins? It's to do with, it's all brewing with the Second World War, isn't it? With Hitler and the Second World War. And you've got the guy who did a deal with Hitler and it all went wrong. And that film is based around that, isn't it? Yeah, but really it's based around the butler, Anthony Hopkins. What's it called? What's the Anthony Hopkins film called that he did with Christopher Reeve? And they actually did a scene in the Winter Gardens in Weston-super-Mare. I actually served Anthony Hopkins and Christopher Reeve chips from my chip shop that I owned at the time. This is way back, yeah? But it wasn't me that served them. It was my night off. So they came and got chips from my chip shop, Anthony Hopkins and Christopher Reeve, and I wasn't there. So I missed out. Do any of you know the name of the film? Oh, what's it called? Oh, I was trying to think of it. Return of the Day, is it? Oh, come on. Think. Was it Return of the Day? I can't think of it, guys. Come on, Christopher Reeve. And I think, what's his name? Come on, one of you must know it, guys. One of you. Christopher Reeve's film. It was obviously before he had his accident. With Anthony Hopkins. Oh, it's not coming to me. I think it might be Return of the Day. Remains of the Day. Yes. Linda, you got it. He came to our town. They filmed a scene in the Winter Gardens and on the pier. They redecorated the pier to look like a Victorian pier. And they bought chips from my chip shop. I wasn't there. I missed it. I had staff on duty. So I never got to meet them. There's loads of pictures of them in my hometown, Weston-super-Mare, and I never got to meet them. Both heroes of mine, Anthony Hopkins and Christopher Reeve. Okay, August the 12th. Elvis was unable to get a copy of the film Star Wars. Oh no, we've done that, right? So isn't this his last wave? Let me just get the angle right. So the sun's right in my face, so it's not very good, guys, but we all know this picture, don't we? Okay, right. Let's have a look. So shortly after midnight, Elvis returns to Greystones for a late night visit to the dentist. The photo below is the last known photo of Elvis taken on his return to the dentist. Through the early morning on the 16th, Elvis takes care of last-minute tour details, relaxes with family and staff. He is to fly to Portland, Maine that night and do a show there on the 17th. But here we go. So you're right, Elaine. After all that, you're right. It was Portland, Maine. Yeah, Elaine? Are we correct? Ooh, someone's at the door. 1 minute. Dingo. Be quiet. I'm going to put this door on. All right. Oh, well, you're getting your best shot. Right, just 1 second, guys. Okay. The postman is here. My son has just arrived. I just want to warm that tea up a bit more. Oh, well. Don't need to go break. Okay, let's grab that tea. Right, I got myself another tea. Now, that was my son Giovanni, who's 15. He's just come back from his football match and he's not happy. He's like, my son plays for a really good academy, a football academy called Weston-super-Mare. And he's very good. My son is a very, very talented footballer. And he knew he was playing a very tough team today and they lost. He just told me they lost. So he's very gloomy. He's not happy. He's like, I said, oh, don't worry, you learned from it. But he's gutted. I feel sorry for him. So, oh well. Right, what was we saying? So Linda, you're on your 4th coffee. I just keep warming up my drink. Yeah, bless him. I agree. He's gone upstairs to mope. But I don't know if you guys follow football. He's obsessed with Chelsea. He's obsessed with football. He is like a dictionary. You ask him any question of any football team in England, and he knows every player in every team. He is obsessed with it. Let's have a look. Okay, right. Let's have a look. So we are... So we're reading the last moments now, aren't we? So Elvis retires to his master suite at Gracelands around 7 a.m. to rest for the evening flight. But late morning, Elvis is dead of heart failure. The news is announced by mid-afternoon. In a matter of hours, the shock registers around the world. We know, don't we? The Memphis Fire Department ambulance from Engine House 29 at 2147 Elvis Presley Boulevard responded to the call at 2:33 p.m. and at 2:56 p.m. had taken Presley to the emergency room at Baptist Hospital, 7 miles away from the Whitehaven home. It was just a routine call. Someone was having difficulty breathing at 3764 Elvis Presley Boulevard. Such calls had to come in before and when people had collapsed on the street as they waited to catch a glimpse of their singing idol. The call was received by the normal procedure, said Charlie Crosby, an emergency medical technician. We only knew it was his house. Let's have a look. The ambulance hit the gate and it was going into Graceland. There was severe cardiovascular disease present. All right, so it's actually saying here the ambulance hit the gate as it was going in. Does anyone know that? That the ambulance actually hit the gate as it was going in? There was severe cardiovascular disease present. Dr. Francisco said there was no indication of drug abuse at any kind, and he said that only evidence of drugs involved those Presley's was taken for his physical condition. Okay. All right, let me just check your comments. So Michelle Arundel says best team ever. I grew up being a Liverpool fan. Liverpool. I did used to go and watch Bristol City because Bristol City are near where I live. Right, hi Gio. Right, so Elaine says, yeah, it did clip the gate. I didn't know that. Let's have a look. Rock idol Elvis Presley dies at 42. The Washington Post. Elvis Presley, who I'm guessing this is what was written in the Washington Post, yeah? Elvis Presley revolutionized American popular music with the earthly singing star and became a hero to generations of the rock and roll fans. Died yesterday in Memphis. Reaction amongst the fans' performances and music industry executive elsewhere was emotional. In Santiago, Chile, newspapers, stock presses and radio stations changed their evening program to recount the life of El Rey de Rock and Roll in Memphis. The telephone system was reported unable to handle the volume of calls coming into the city and around the country. Hundreds of weeping fans gathered outside Baptist Memorial and Graceland's mansion last night. 2 European radio stations also suspended regular performing as soon as Presley's death was announced. Radio Luxembourg, the continent's most widely listened to pop station, cancelled all its commercials to play Presley music non-stop. This is the end of rock and roll, said. It all just suddenly went dark then, guys. Isn't it funny? I'm reading that and it all goes dark. Spooky. 2 European radio stations had also suspended regular programs. This is the end of rock and roll, said Bob Merlis, executive with Warner Brothers Records, who compiled an anthology of Presley early material several years ago for RCA. The void he will leave is impossible to gauge. Pat Boone. So anyway, I could read a bit more of that, but hang on. Let's just carry on with what we were saying. So David Lohman, are you a Bruce Lee fan? Because I tell you what, I love Bruce Lee. And I've watched the Bruce Lee movies. There's a couple of very good Bruce Lee true story films, and they're both brilliant. And it's shocking how his son died. So sad. Right, so this is what... I know we got sidetracked by me reading that. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough today. I'm a bit coughy. Now, Elvis probably knew he was very unwell. Wasn't expecting to die on that day. Probably, don't forget, we know Lisa Marie's there. We know that he's ready to go on tour. Yeah. Now, did Elvis expect that after he died, that his father would die so quickly? Does anyone know the month? Let me just look it up. We're just thinking out loud, guys. We're thinking outside the box. Day Elvis' dad died. So Elvis' father dies on the 26th of June, 1979, yeah? Now, we know that the will has been signed and Ginger Alden witnessed it. We've just learnt that. So what then happens? So Elvis passes away. Obviously, the whole world just goes crazy. It's the most magnificent funeral ever. And even the day that it was announced, is it hundreds of thousands of people are outside Graceland, all down Elvis Presley Boulevard. We've all seen the footage, loads of footage. The day Elvis died. Should we just show a bit? See, we're doing things as we go, yeah? We're not in a rush. So Elvis died. Now, many of you will remember this day, of course. We all do. I was camping. I was with the Cub Scouts. We woke up to the news. It was on the front page of the Sun newspaper, a picture of Elvis in his coffin. Now, some of you don't think that picture is genuine. Some of you think it is. Some of you say, is it, what is the name of the newspaper? A certain newspaper or magazine paid someone to go in with these little miniature cameras and it had something to do with a relative of Billy Smith. Is that right? You tell me, guys. I tell you what, you guys are going to disagree with me, but I don't like that picture of Elvis in his coffin. Yeah. It doesn't look real to me. It doesn't look real to me. Now, I've read different things. Some people say they paid Billy Smith's relatives. Yeah. Billy Mann took it, right? Okay. Right. Now, yes, so he was a cousin, right? Some people say about what you're talking about now, that they paid $18,000 to get this picture, yeah? But other people say that they did take the picture using the little miniature cameras, yeah? But the company, who was it? Which newspaper? The Inquirer. There we go. Now, I'm just talking out loud, guys. Just chatting with you, chatting with Team Elvis. Some people say that none of the films could be developed because it was such a small camera and the pictures didn't come out, so that the Inquirer doctored the picture, and that picture of Elvis in his coffin is fake. Now, actually, a good person to ask is Mindy Miller, because she was there. She will know exactly what Elvis looked like in his coffin. You know, the walk past, the public were allowed to walk past the coffin, the open coffin. Mindy Miller spent many hours there. She says it in her interview with Shauna, that she went back a few times. She spent hours by Elvis's grave as the people walked past, as the general public. And it was Vernon that wanted the public to be able to see the grave, to see the coffin. Yeah. So do you guys think that picture is genuine? I'm asking you. I think it looks fake. Obviously, he was not as slim as that. Everything about that picture, he looks perfect. He looks much younger. Nothing like the way he looked at the last concert that was aired. Yeah, didn't they say they aired it in October? I'm not sure about that picture. Also, we've heard Larry Geller did his hair. I think even Billy Smith was involved in that as well, with his hair as well. I've read that. I personally, if Mindy Miller because she was there, said to us, you know, Team Elvis, or to Shauna, yes, that is how he looked in his coffin, then I'll say, yes, okay, it was genuine. But until I've got actual proof, I'm going to say it might not be. Let's have a look. Which film are we talking about? Let's have a look. My dad loves... All right, yeah, we're talking about Bruce Lee. Yeah, come on. He was amazing. Amazing. One of the most fascinating people that ever lived, Bruce Lee. Right, let's keep going. Yeah, Elaine, I've always been one of these people that refuse to see a dead body. When my father died, I wouldn't go. When my best friend died, I wouldn't go. I can't do it. I cannot do it. But yes, I have once. Well, Mindy Miller, she talks about it in the show. She says that when she does, I think in Shauna's show that she did today, she clearly says that Elvis looked very different when he was dead. She said you could just see that the life in him had left his body and that the body looked different. She says his nose looked different. So she was there. So I'd love to ask her if that picture is genuine. I'd love to ask her that. Yeah, so we've heard, yeah, I've heard the stories about the waxwork dummy as well. No, I do believe it was Elvis in the coffin. Elaine, I'm not saying that it wasn't him. 100% I am not saying it wasn't him. I know it was Elvis. Yeah. What I'm saying is the picture doesn't look good. The picture that the tabloids used could be fake, couldn't it? The tabloids, they're saying, some people are saying that picture, because the cameras didn't develop properly, that the Inquirer just made their own picture up by piecing different things together. So trust me, I definitely think Elvis is dead. I clearly want you guys to know now, 100%, in my opinion, Elvis is dead. Is dead. Please don't even for a second think that I believe any of the conspiracy theories. I do not. I make that very clear. Right. Yes, of course. Elvis is dead, guys. Yeah, I know. The Becks, I know Elvis is dead. No, please, all of you, don't get it wrong what I'm saying. I know Elvis is dead. 100% I believe he's dead. Yeah. Right. Right. Okay. So let's keep going. We were just going to show a short clip. Let's have a look of the day Elvis died. Yeah. But I want to do a wide, not a. I want it a wide, not a short. I've actually done a few videos myself. I don't think they'll come up. Let's have a look.
Come on. Went out the back.
Okay, I wonder if my ones will come up. Just the ones I did, because my ones there is a talk over. I don't think they're going to come up. Let's just try it. The day Elvis died. If I put defending Elvis Presley. The day Elvis died. The day Elvis died. My wife has got friends coming over today. So that affects my day. Let's have a look. Well, there's a couple of shorts here. Let's just play them. But they're in wide form. Let's just play them and see what they're like.
There were so many people mourning me fainting. His body was in the house for 3 days, and there was something very oddly comforting about that, which made it not necessarily real for me, as I stayed in there with it almost the whole time. We can stop. I've had my food, my sugar. We were devastated. I can't say it. I'm missing. Find it all. And when he died, a part of me died. All the cards and letters that you have sent since the passing away of my son, Elvis, have been a great help to me and the family during this time of grief.
Right, well, that's one I made a good year ago. Let's see what the other one is. There's a couple here. I hope you don't mind me playing them.
Good evening. Elvis Presley died today. He was 42.
Tell me about that day 35 years ago. Priscilla, do you remember getting the call?
I do. I'll never forget that day. I walked outside and I said, my God, something's not right. And Lisa was in Memphis at the time, and I first thought about her. I wasn't able to function for a while without him because I just, in my head, I just thought, what do I do without him? Because he was always there for me.
Lisa Marie, you were 9 at the time. You were at the house, I understand, here at Graceland. Mm-hmm. Did you know what was going on?
I knew something was wrong because I was in my room, which was right next to his bathroom. So I knew that something was very wrong. I was a wreck. I was a mess. But I also was confused because I was so upset, and the pandemonium that happened after was a little bit confusing.
It's touching, isn't it, guys? Let's see if there's any more that I did. I actually did ones that let's listen to this.
Did you ever see each other after the divorce?
Oh, absolutely, all the time. Absolutely.
So a relationship continued of some sort.
Absolutely.
But you were the tough mother, and he was the soft father.
Oh.
Very typical, by the way.
I know.
And when Elvis died, Lisa Marie was what, 9?
Just 9 years old. Mm-hmm.
Where were you that day?
I was at home. Well, actually, I was on my way to an appointment.
In L.A.?
In L.A. Mm-hmm. And Joe Esposito had gotten a hold of my parents and said that he needed to talk to me. They reached my sister, and my sister met me at the appointment and told me that something was wrong, that Elvis was ill and in the hospital. And I went back home, and the phone was ringing, and it was Joe on the phone, who said that he was sending a plane for me to come to Memphis. It was serious. And
he didn't tell you he was?
He did. He said it was serious, and that Elvis died.
Okay, let's just see what else. I'm just looking at some of my old things that I put together. Right. Here we go. Now, this is the one I'm talking about. I do talk on this. It's called The Day Elvis Presley Died. I hope you don't mind me playing this. It does take a few minutes. So we're not in a rush. Is anyone in a rush? Because I can carry on a little bit longer.
Some 300 people have gathered outside in front of the Presley home, and cars are backed up for miles in both directions down Elvis Presley Boulevard. It has been estimated that at least 2,000 people have stopped here this afternoon, all hoping for some word from the family that Elvis Presley really is dead. However, there's been no word from the Graceland mansion. Only members of the immediate family are allowed inside. One uncle did tell me earlier today that Elvis Presley was in his bedroom, got up to go to the bathroom, and that was when he fell on the floor. Fred Stoll has been a gateman here for some 14 years. Mr. Stoll, when was the last time you saw Elvis?
The last time I saw Elvis was last week, and he went out for a drive.
And how did he he look to you then?
He looked like he's feeling well. He waved at the fans and was smiling.
No evidence of any physical problem?
No, he seemed like he felt well.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. City officials have passed a resolution making tomorrow a day of mourning for Elvis Presley. All flags in the city are being asked to fly at half staff. Earlier today, I talked with some of the people who had gathered outside, and here on tape are some of their comments. From the moment it was announced that Elvis Presley was dead, fans and friends flocked to his house, and some stayed the whole day. Weeping, sobbing friends who were just looking and hoping for some word that the tragedy wasn't true. David, you were so close to Elvis. David. Are you a relative or friend? I knew Elvis for 20 years. I knew him. I've been here waiting since Sunday night to get a glimpse of Elvis, and last night he left the house about 11 o'clock with some friends and came back in about 2:30, quarter to 3, and he was fine then, and he was smiling and waving, and he had his girlfriend in the car and his doctor and a couple of other people, and they drove up and they waved and everything, and he looked fine. That was about 2:30 or quarter to 3, and then then this morning, then we were here again early this morning, and we saw the ambulance come, and the ambulance flew right in, and immediately we knew something was wrong, and they came right back down, and in the ambulance was Elvis Presley's doctor, and they were working on him, and wouldn't say who it was, but we figured it was him, but they said it was his grandmother. How would you describe what you feel right now? It's just, I don't know, I just can't hardly believe it. I can't believe it. I just can't. I've been a fan of Elvis since I've been 16 years old. And my dream came true. My husband brought me up here yesterday to see Elvis's home, and I waited 21 years for this, and I don't believe it. I just don't.
This is such an emotional, rare footage video that I found about the day Elvis Presley passed away. And just listening to all the different people talking, it's actually quite upsetting. It really does make you feel like you're there. And the cars are going up the very long driveway at Graceland. They're greeted by the security guard. Very clear, guys. I just find the atmosphere of this video hard to explain. Yeah. It's very eerie. You can imagine just being there. And you wonder what's going through everyone's mind today in Memphis, August 16th, 1977. The whole of Memphis is in shock. I don't think they can believe it actually happened. In the distance there, you've got Memphis. You just sort of make it out. And the people walking in pay their respects. Thousands of people just hanging around, cars going up and down. Life goes on. See the gates there. People very quiet and sad. Just stand there, talking. I like that. She was nice. Nice. You have good taste. Funny, you can get the atmosphere.
How does this footage make you feel? Does it bring back memories of that day to you, where you were, who you were with, when it was announced that Elvis had passed? Does this footage make you feel a bit closer to Elvis? I find it very, very interesting, this footage.
What time did you come in tonight?
I come on at 6 in the evening.
What was the situation when you got here? Lots of folks here?
There was a lot of people here, but I believe there's more here now than there was when I come on at 6.
What do you expect as the night goes on? Do you expect the crowd to thin out a little bit, or maybe get
Well, I suspect most of them still remain during the night, a good part of them.
Who's in the house now? Who's here?
Elvis's relatives and his personal bodyguards, and that's about it. Is up at the house. There's most of his relatives and bodyguards up there up at the house.
Are you hearing from any others who have said they're on the way in? Have you talked to any of them on the phone, maybe?
No, I haven't talked with anyone on the phone saying that they're on the way down here, but there'll probably be more coming in from out of town.
How many years you been working here?
I've been here 14 years.
All right, thank you very much, Fred.
Okay, thank you. The largest crowd that I've ever seen here, I believe, just about. And I've seen a lot of big crowds here.
Ever any trouble with people trying to get through the gate or get over the gate or anything?
Not really too much. I haven't had too much trouble with people trying to get by me, nothing like that much. Most fans will do what's right, you know.
That's it, guys. I know it's a bit of an unusual footage here, so I hope you've enjoyed it, and I've found it extremely interesting. So thanks a lot. All the best to you.
Yeah, so I did quite a few of those. Obviously, that's not. It's much clearer when you watch them on on YouTube. My son's here, by the way. So I'm going to just bring things up. Sort of come to an ending now. We've been on for nearly 2 hours, which has gone like that. I got the sun right in my face. So look, if I sit right back here, there's no sun. So I just sit back here, guys. So now I'm going to move on to the last segment of this live stream. What would Elvis think? He passes away. Yeah, Elvis is dead. He's in his grave. We've gone past the funeral. The whole world's in mourning. Of course, Elvis would have been honoured honoured at the outpouring of love and affection and grief that he received. I think he wouldn't believe it. I don't think Elvis would have believed that he'd still be remembered 50 years later, more or less. But I will say this. I think Elvis, I think Elvis would have been shocked at Priscilla's behaviour over the decades. Now, the initial interviews Priscilla gave weren't too bad. 1979, 1980. But once you get to the Barbara Walters style interviews, and there's more than one, there's a few different ones, Elvis would turn in his grave. He would be horrified. Now, would have Elvis have expected it? Bearing in mind, Elvis had agreed to, I think Elvis had agreed to all of the terms of the second divorce that she was not entitled to, that she had to accuse him of fraud and lying and hiding his assets and income to get a second divorce settlement, which was the amount she was demanding was a massive amount, astronomical amount. Basically, to me, almost bankrupt him. And I believe that the second divorce settlement is part of the reason there was no money left when Elvis died. Just my opinion, guys. Now, I think Elvis eventually bent over backwards to try and please Priscilla and give her everything she wanted. So after he died, and then you've got, obviously, after Vernon died, I really believe that the way Priscilla behaved after Vernon died, not straight away, but eventually as we get into the 80s, is horrific. Honestly, I cannot stand many of the things that Priscilla did. And I don't say this to Priscilla in hate. I'm not trying to create hate. I want Priscilla to apologize for her wrongdoing towards Elvis and the bloodline, towards Elvis and Lisa Marie and Riley and the twins, because Priscilla even now is taking money out of the pocket of the twins. Even now, as we speak, 47 years after the death, 50 years after the divorce. Now, I don't understand what Elvis did that was so bad to Priscilla, that she behaved the way she did. Once she gets to the Barbara Walters interviews, which you can look up on YouTube, once she makes the decision to write this book, and once she makes the decision to do the TV melodrama based on that book in 1988, which even accuses him of rape, I don't understand what Elvis did that was so bad to Priscilla to make her be the way she was with him for the last 4 decades. Doesn't make sense, guys. I actually think Elvis, once Priscilla made the decision that she wanted a divorce, she wanted out, she demanded a divorce in 1972. It could have even been the end of 71. So their relationship by 72 really is over. The marriage is over. Elvis gave in to all her demands. Everything Priscilla wanted, she got. Everything. Everything. Elvis didn't even show anger or bitterness. He forgave. He let Priscilla get on with her life. They got the first divorce settlement, the second divorce settlement, which we know was cruel, very cruel. Elvis still forgave her. Now, Elvis passes away. We have outpouring of love and grief. Obviously, Priscilla is witness to this. There are many things that happen with Priscilla at the funeral. Even at the funeral, Priscilla is trying to control things. She's trying to control who's there, who's on the aeroplane with her coming over, almost trying to erase any girlfriends Elvis had, whether it be Linda or Mindy Miller, even Ginger Oldham. Priscilla, that is the early stages of Priscilla creating a new version of events, a new narrative, a new story, a rewriting of history. Now, this starts, I think, from the moment Elvis dies. At first, it's just a thought. There's some actions. We know that she wouldn't allow certain people on the aeroplane with her when she was being brought to the funeral. We just get a snippet of it in 77. By 79, we the fans, Elvis fans, are worried about how the decision was made by Vernon to give everything, make Priscilla the main trustee on behalf of Lisa Marie. You guys have strong views about that. Vernon is very unwell. He's got heart problems. There's even pictures showing Lisa Marie, Priscilla, and Vernon on his deathbed, really. Yeah? So then there's this initial thing where Priscilla is being careful with her interviews. Around 79, after Vernon dies, she's being very careful, speaking well of Elvis. But then something changed, and we've been talking about this recently on our live streams. Something changed where there was a real complete change in how Priscilla wanted the past to be explained. A rewriting of history, a reinvention of events. This book, written by Priscilla, she says to put wrongs to rights because of all the previous books. This was invented, made up, recreated, a rewriting of history. And then you've got the horrible, cruel interviews that are done with Barbara Walters and other people that paint Elvis as a predator, a paedophile, a groomer, a controller, a bad-tempered man, a drug addict, binging on cheeseburgers. And then this storyline, alongside the fact that he was very gifted, an amazing singer, both storylines, this is the storylines that Priscilla is doing. All the horrible stuff, but also the fact he was a gifted man, beautiful man, a loved man, both running alongside each other. Because Priscilla's way to talk about Elvis is to say all the good stuff and say the bad stuff, to allow the interviewers to say most of the bad things. If you look at that Barbara Walters interview, if you watch it properly, almost every word spoken is negative about Elvis for an hour. You find similar interviews around the same time period. It will be the questioner coming out with the horrible questions that make Elvis look bad. But Priscilla still says, oh, but, you know, he was talented. Everyone loved him. So then Priscilla reinvents the truth, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes. And this goes on, and she gets away with it for decades, including saying that she saved Graceland, saying that the Graceland Museum was her idea, which was not true. She did play a part in it. She did play a part in the saving of Graceland. She did play a part in how the launching of the museum happened, but it was not her idea. That idea was well on the way. Memphis, Count City, and other people, Morgan Maxfield, other people were already doing the plans for the museum. So then you've got this poor me, the victim. And I'm not saying this in hate for Priscilla. You've got poor me, the victim storyline that carries on for decades. Painting Elvis in a bad light, portraying him in a horrible way. So the general public, yes, they accept that Elvis was beautiful and talented, but he was also a predator, a paedophile, a groomer, a controller, a child molester. Yeah? This is the general thing that is said about Elvis around the world, which is why we defend Elvis Presley, which is why we come together and say, you've been spoon-fed lies. This book isn't truth, in our opinion. Yeah? Now, my point is this. Do any of you think Elvis would have thought, when I die, I've been really good to Priscilla. I've given Priscilla everything she wanted whilst I was alive. I'm going to give everything. I'm going to leave a will, leaving everything really to Lisa Marie. Yeah, really, yeah. I know that it was for Vernon and Minnie May and Aunt Delta, whatever, but really, it was all for Lisa. Yeah, Lisa was top priority, even for Vernon. Lisa, yeah. Does any of you believe for a second that Elvis thought that Priscilla was going to go on to treat him the way that she did for the next 40 years, to paint this negative portrayal of Elvis again and again and again in interviews, again and again and again, a massive best-selling book, yeah, which I've heard that, is this true, guys? I've heard that Graceland's now refused to sell this book. This book has been taken out of Elvis Presley Enterprises and Graceland's. You cannot buy it now. Is that true? Someone confirm it to me, but this is what I've heard. Does anyone believe for a second that Elvis knew that she was going to behave that way for 40 years, even though he was so good to her, even after the divorce, after the unfaithfulness, after all the money grabbing, yeah, after the fact that she betrayed him and humiliated him with Mike Stone, after the Steve Peck affair, just after Lisa Marie was born, shortly after their marriage. Don't forget, 10 months after the marriage, she's been unfaithful. Does anyone think that Priscilla was going to go on and make Elvis out to be the bad guy for 40 years, her the victim for 40 years? She's changing her tune now, guys. You look at the Piers Morgan interview and the more recent interviews, it is now all about, oh, I still love him. I still love him. Oh, you know, yes, I went through a lot. It was tough living with a legend, but, you know, I got through it. But I saved Gracelands. I created the museum. Elvis would have been forgotten if it wasn't for me. I preserved Elvis's legacy. Oh, Elvis was so talented and beautiful. Everyone loved him, but he couldn't help being unfaithful. You know, he was the man he was. I honestly believe that if Elvis had lived, and no, that's not the way I'm going to put it. I can't put it like that, because I actually think if Elvis was still alive, maybe a lot of those things wouldn't have happened. Elvis up in heaven looking down on his mistreatment, and Priscilla has got away with literally murder for the last 40 years, how she has portrayed Elvis, how she has harmed his image and reputation, how she has affected things financially, money-wise. She didn't protect Lisa Marie's money. The thing with putting Lisa Marie into Scientology was gruesome. One of the most horrible things she could have done to Elvis's daughter. 11 years old was she? Why? Priscilla, I ask you, why putting her into Scientology, wasting all her money, tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions, wasted. And you were in charge. You were at the helm. You were, on behalf of Lisa Marie, you were there. I know that eventually Lisa Marie, when she turned 25, had more of a say, but she left you with it, didn't she? The selling of Elvis Presley Enterprises, massive mistake. And it happened twice. The squandering of Elvis Presley Enterprise money, even selling the name Presley to Bob Silliman way back in 2005. Even now with Bridget Cruz selling the name Priscilla, it's all take. And I just think if Elvis is up in heaven and he's looking down on your behavior for over 40 years, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. And I don't mean that hatefully. I'm not angry at you. I'm not trying to create hate. I ask you, please apologize. Apologize for your behavior on behalf of your family and Elvis and the fans. And then maybe we can turn a corner and we can try and forgive you. We can try and make things right, Priscilla. No hate. Let's try and make things right. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. We've been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes, a long time. So I'm not sure about if I'm going to do another live. Probably will. Hope you've enjoyed it. Now, I always say the same thing to you guys. If you've enjoyed what we've done this morning, get us a coffee. Hit the coffee button. Cling. Send me a coffee. Or is it supers or a thank you button? Give me a bit of thanks. It means a lot to me. If you want to be a member, please become a member. We've had some new members today. So any new members watching now, I think it was Chris, Rick Chris. Thank you so much. It's only $1 a month to be a member, guys. Nothing. Pennies. YouTube take half of it. So it's like 50p a month, 50 cents a month or something. So thank you, guys. Loved it with you guys. We've had a really nice morning together. I think it's been really interesting. Yeah, really interesting. So really appreciate all of you guys coming in together with me and having a cup of tea with the members, with the subscribers. You all mean so much to me. You know that. And I've really enjoyed my morning. Really enjoyed it. And it's gone like that. How many of you feel like we've been here 2 hours? 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's gone like that. Sorry about the sunlight in my face and the bad quality of the camera and the audio quality, but we've still had a good time, haven't we? Take care, guys. All the best to you. Love you all.